I was supposed to go fight wildland forest fires. I went in to finish up my final paperwork. I was supposed to start Sunday, and I was informed by my boss after I'd finished my paperwork that he was going to rescind his offer. In our protest, it wasn't violent at all. Nobody did anything violent. We were just there to let me walk. Basically, that was our message. That's why everybody came together. I don't believe I would have been punished at all, personally, if I had said Black Lives Matter or any of the other things. It's reassuring to know that I'm not alone and realize what I did wasn't wrong.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about an interesting story out of Idaho. A story that I'm very surprised is flying under the radar, but it's about a senior at Kellogg High School who was not allowed to walk during his graduation because he made unapproved comments about gender during an assembly speech that was supposed to be given to underclassmen. Okay, so the story goes like this. There was a senior at this high school, and they give speeches to underclassmen, so freshmen, sophomores, juniors, basically giving them advice. Okay, so just giving them some advice before they graduate or whatever. And apparently during his speech, he said comments that were not approved by the woke administrators. Basically, he said that boys are boys and girls are girls. Okay, which apparently is a controversial statement. Okay, and so controversial that the woke administrators decided to ban him from being able to walk during graduation. Now, in response to this, students actually issue a protest, a walkout in support of their classmate being able to walk during graduation. So I want to talk about this controversy because, again, it's flying under the radar. But again, this is just another example of how if you are a student or somebody that happens to be conservative, you're not allowed to state your opinions, right? Your opinions are not allowed if they're not approved by, again, the woke powers that be. So I want to get into that. But before I get into it, I got to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can check out my new merch. For example, like my signature racist mug. This is the black edition of that, which is a daily reminder of the 2023 definition of racist according to the left, which is anybody who disagrees with the Democrat Party. It also has my logo, Team BCP, on the back as well too. You guys can check that out at my website, gforemanbcp.com. You can get 20% off using discount code TEAMBCP. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll this news clip so you guys can get a better understanding of what's going on here. Take a look.
Kellogg High School students walked out today in protest of a disciplinary decision for one of the seniors. Administrators say that student made unapproved comments about gender.
But now, as a result of today's protest, the graduation ceremony that was supposed to be tomorrow is being postponed. In a Facebook post, the district said, quote, "The Shoshone County Sheriff's Office has informed the Kellogg School District of concerns regarding the safety of students, staff, and families due to a number of outside groups and agitators." KREM 2's Nathan Hyun went to Kellogg to learn more tonight.
I'm standing outside Kellogg High School where earlier today more than 30 students walked out in support of a student who's been barred from walking at graduation. It all started with one sentence at the end of the year assembly.
The seniors got to say one piece of advice or one thing that they wanted to tell the rest of school, and he said boys are boys and girls are girls and there's no in between.
This did not sit well with the school staff.
We could see on some of the faces of some of the teachers that they weren't too happy with his comment.
Students who were participating in the assembly were supposed to submit their speeches beforehand for approval, but the school says when he took the stage, the student read a different speech. The next day, the student was told because he broke the rules, he was no longer allowed to walk at graduation.
I think it's definitely political. I think that if he would have said one side, then it could have been just brushed under the rug and whatever, and he would have been totally fine.
Over the course of the week, students tell me they plan to walk out to show support. Korn Leeling was one of these students.
I think it was successful, at least for us getting our point across, and that we should have a stand and have a say.
Members of the Kellogg community also showed up, and today more than 100 people gathered outside the high school claiming the school was restricting the students' right to free speech.
It was fun to see, and
I think a lot of people, supported many different things, and but I do believe we all have like one main goal.
The school superintendent tells me it was never about the student's political stance, but because he went off script.
Because of behavior reasons that I can't go into, was told he could not participate in the graduation ceremony.
Superintendent Lance Pearson says the students who walked out today will be marked as absent with no excuse. And as of right now, there's no word on when the graduation ceremony will take place.
We're worried at this point of what's going to come. We don't have a lot of officers within our sheriff's department, and we are going to carefully evaluate whether or not we can hold graduation safely.
As for many students, they hope the walkout makes a difference.
I'd love to see him walk, personally. I think, you spent 12 years in school, at least be able to walk at your graduation.
Even with the protest and walkout, the superintendent here tells me that the student will still be barred from participating in the graduation ceremony. In Kellogg, Nathan Hun, Krem 2 News.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, they eventually did hold graduation, okay, despite the alleged threats of violence, even though I don't believe that those threats were real. I think that is stuff that's always made up to try to make it seem like people who are supporting this young man, this teenager, to make it seem like they're violent people, okay, aka conservatives are violent, people who, are, intolerant or whatever, okay? So, with that being said, again, this story is interesting, okay, because he ultimately was not allowed to walk. And there are two sides to the story. The student side of the story, which is that he is being kept from walking, or he was kept from walking because of his comments about gender. Boys are boys and girls are girls, which apparently is a controversial thing to say in 2023. Okay, just another sign that we're living in cuckoo for Cocoa Puff world here, right? Where you can't even state biological facts without it being controversial. So the school is saying, look, these comments are off script. It's not about the comments themselves, but the fact that these comments weren't vetted. Apparently, the students are supposed to turn in their scripts, show their scripts to administrators and teachers to get it approved, okay, before actually being able to give this speech, because they want to make sure there isn't anything vulgar in there or inappropriate, right? So the school is saying, well, we're not allowing him to walk because he broke the rules, not necessarily because of what he said. It's just the fact that he broke the rules, which in my opinion, I'm not really buying it for a couple reasons. The first reason is because I don't think that this has happened before, right? Like, I don't think that this school has banned a student from walking during graduation because they said something off script during one of these speeches that they give to undergraduates, right? Because we know that when people give speeches, it is almost customary for people to make like slick comments, right? Like off the cuff. Okay, like you're reading a speech, you make a joke, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like it's not uncommon for people to go off script, okay? And to throw something extra in there while they're giving a speech. And again, you don't have stories about kids not being allowed to walk for doing that. And I'm pretty sure that kids have done that in the past, right? So I'm almost sure that it's not really about that, okay? And then the school, in a desperate attempt to try to save face, basically tries to cite the student's behavior, because allegedly this student, and again, according to him, really, I mean, so it's not really even alleged, he participated in a senior prank, okay, in which I think he might have spray painted the school or something like that, because apparently that's what seniors do, right? They participate in senior pranks, which, you know, hey, you could argue with scholarly behavior, and you guys know what I mean by scholarly behavior. Okay, the school is basically alluding to this idea that he might be a bad student. He might have some behavior issues. Now, I don't know that for certain, but according to the student, that was probably one of the only incidences that he's had during this school year. So maybe he doesn't have a long history of bad behavior, but again, the school is trying to basically say that he had bad behavior, and that's also a part of it as well, too. We really don't know. But regardless, I also think that what these students said during a walkout also is valid about how we know if this was done in the reverse, okay, AKA if this kid was woke, okay, he was up there saying something woke, like, for example, that boys can be girls and girls can be boys, we know damn well that he would be allowed to walk, right? We know damn well that the school would not have done this because, like these kids stated, and these kids are smart, right? They know what's going on in this country. This is political, right? It's 100% political. And let's not forget, he lost his job over that too, okay? He said that he was going to go work for some company and they decided that, hey, we're going to cancel our offer. We're rescinding our offer because you said stuff that, again, was against the gender ideology, woke gender ideology. And the reason why you know is because of the double standard that is prevalent almost everywhere when it comes to this subject of gender, okay, and sexuality and even race, okay? If you are a part of some victim group, okay, whether it be racially, sexually, genderly, right, whatever you want to call it, okay, if you're part of some minority group, if you claim that you're oppressed, you're off limits, right? People can't state an opinion about you, even if that opinion is grounded in facts and reality, okay? Now, if you are, again, a part of this oppressed group and you want to state your opinion, even if it's political, even if it's not allowed, you can, okay, even if it's not grounded in facts, okay, you can, because at the end of the day, you have special rights and privileges in virtue of the fact that you are a part of a victim group, okay? This is why you've never heard anybody get fired for saying Black Lives Matter, even though Black Lives Matter is responsible for a ton of violence and death in this country from protests that were sparked because of the lie behind Black Lives Matter. But again, nobody's ever fired for repeating the lie, okay, and promoting the lie, despite the fact that, again, violence is associated with it, okay? Apparently, it only matters, the violence only matters when, you know, it's not approved by the authoritarian regime, right? The left-wing, liberal, progressive agenda. This is how it works, okay? Again, if a transgender kid went up there and started talking about, you know, how this country's so bad and how he's fighting for his rights and, you know, support trans kids or whatever, we all know they wouldn't have done anything because they would have been afraid of being called bigots and transphobes. We know exactly what would not have happened, right? There would have been no punishment, okay? So, you know, it's just funny how this administration is trying to pretend like it's not political when we know it's political. We know it's political. And the sad part about this is that they're punishing this kid for unapproved political speech, right? That's what it is. They're punishing him for his speech, his freedom of speech. And they're punishing him in the worst way possible by not allowing him to walk during graduation to celebrate the fact that he finished school, which really is a damn shame. I think this punishment is way too harsh, right? This is one of those things where you can give it a slap on the wrist. It's not like he violated anything having to do with graduation, okay? Again, if the student actually had behavior issues in school, again, why wasn't he punished before this, right? He was only punished after this incident that really, in my opinion, is a nothing burger, okay? So again, that's not a legitimate concern. Again, they've taken away this kid's ability to celebrate him graduating from this school simply because he said something that they disagree with politically. And this is where we're at in this country. Kids are being punished in class for not going along with the agenda, right? If you disagree with the regime, right? If you disagree with the agenda, again, they're going to punish you. They're going to try to put you back in line because you're not woke enough. I mean, this student came out and gave a statement talking about how, you know, oh, there's a ton of genders out there and, you know, everybody's aware of what they're going through and yada, yada, yada. Again, doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter if you issue a woke statement afterwards. It's the fact that you even stated that. The fact that you even stated a biological fact is an act of bigotry, and therefore you must be punished. You must be punished. So, you know, again, this is a crazy story. It flew under the radar, but it's just sad that this is the state of the world that we're living in where, you know, kids are being punished for having the wrong opinions. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.